Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch. Hope you guys are all doing pretty fantastic nonetheless. So, alright. 20HD Ryan asked, what is my favorite game of all time? And that has to be answered in multiple segments because there's so many games I actually do enjoy across many platforms. So it's really hard to say which, but I narrowed it down to two games I really enjoy and I could play over and over without a problem. And that, of course, is the first game I'm going to show you might be a generic choice by most people's standards, and that, of course, is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now, I played this a very long time ago, about a year or two after it came out, and it was one of the type of games I picked up and played continuously, big time. It was just a really in-depth game. Every time I got home from school or whatever, I'd just pop it in and play some of that. And no pun intended, Luke. But anywho, it was just a really fun game you could play over and over and over, at least for me. But for the PlayStation, it was that. I mean, I got this for the Xbox 360. I got the digital copy of that. I have the PSP Dracula X Chronicles over there sitting on the shelf. And, it's just a game I cannot get tired of. So, it was the closest saying one of my favorites of all time. But really excellent game. I'm still looking for a black label version of this because I like the green. Don't get me wrong, the greatest hits edition, but I'm aiming towards the the original labeled version 2. So next game here is no question, and that of course is Fire and Ice from the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now I have this right here, and I could have gone for it solely based off the card alone, because it really did not matter to me that I had it carded or complete rather, but it was just a game that once I played it, I couldn't stop playing it. It was just, if a game can hook me, it's gotta be a favorite. And I just played the holy hell out of this so much. I think it almost rivals the same exact time I play off Dungeon Defenders, and if you look that up on my Steam, it's like at least 224 hours on that game alone. And that's a lot of time, especially for a tower defense game. But I think, obviously, strictly Sega could probably beat me in that comparison because he plays that game religiously now. It's like his game to play. But nonetheless, Fire and Ice, if you do not know what it is, because it isn't well known, but yet it's kind of scarce, somewhat rare. And what it is it's a puzzle platformer, or a side-scroller for most of the old tech. And it's just really enjoyable. It had a decent storyline of something that was very easy to understand. I mean, the downside of it, yes, it did have a very monotonous password system, but it was not a bad means of a password system. I mean, it wasn't horrible to jot down on a piece of paper. Because nowadays I just use my computer and run over here, type in the password, and go back over there and play it some more. Or if I'm really feeling lazy, I bring the Nintendo system over here and play on the TV over here and just deal with the fuzziness, so the subpar sharpness of what the game's supposed to be original look like. But again, it's just one of my favorites of all time. And so I was actually working on, was it strictly Sega's? I mentioned Charlie a lot. That's kind of funny, but on his old Minecraft server, I was actually constructing a Fire and Ice arena, which was sort of like Splunking, I believe what the game is called. People can tune into what the name is actually of the little game you play, and you have ice underneath you, and you use a torch or something like that, and you hit the ice, and it makes it break, and then you keep on doing that till both of you fall down. Then the originator, or the person who loses or whatever, refills the ice thing to start another round. But, it was basically themed off of this, at least what I was doing with the arena, even though it's been an adventure game before I even constructed the Fire and Ice arena. But, nonetheless, one of my favorites of all time. I really enjoyed this on the Nintendo Entertainment System. So much so, I even sacrificed the purchasing it, even though I could have been happy and content just playing it on an emulator, but I wanted to, actually grasp it. One of the daunting things that happened to me when I bought this was, and look what happened to this. The seller sold it to me like this, right? I mean, that is the box, but the person cut it up and put it inside this rental case. And I got it, I was almost in tears, because that was like the most horrifying thing I've ever seen butchered in my life, and that's just, I know it's kind of nerdy to say that, but I don't care. It's just, holy crap, who the hell would do that to an expensive game like that? I mean, it was a rental, I believe, and, oh yeah, that's right, that too. There was also that rental sticker on there, so I assume they got this off a rental store. That's how they were able to obtain this. You can see by some shots of the game, that's pretty much what it looks like. The cutscenes on this game are really good as well. Like, it was just awesome cutscenes, and Tecmo did a really good job of this title. And I really wish they could have revived this series, and even though part would not do as popular in today's standards, because you have a lot of puzzle platformers in today's indie market. So I don't see it doing totally successful other than a few core cult fans enjoying it, besides like myself. But it would be one of the set of games I would sacrifice just to purchase that when it ever came out. Or at least, if I ever made a game, I'd probably base it wholly off this game right here. With the, of course, the hat nod, or hat toss, or nod, or whatever the gesture is called. Basically, do that type of measure by asking permission if I could do a game very similar to this one, because I just thought it was excellent in those respects. But anyway, I digress. Probably the two choices I picked are nowhere near what other people consider perfection, but it don't matter to me because I truly enjoy these games. I can play them continuously and not care. Or in the terms of, you know, complexion of gameplay excellence, I consider these two one of the top 2 favorites of all time. I can't pick one because it's really hard to do that for me, because I have like a huge mind expansive towards, you know, seeing all good in gaming, and if I see a game that's really bad, I just don't play it, kind of thing. Or I see some inconsistencies that doesn't add up for me, like the OCD in my brain explodes with diarrhea. But anyway, for all those folks who touch their nipples daily while watching my videos, a big thank you to those nipple touchers. And as always, more videos soon, because I need to go touch my nipples very violently until they fall off. Then of course be flopping, jello-like nipples that flop around the ground. Then horror movies will be brought forth. Then of course they'll do mediocre and Rotten Tomatoes. They'll probably most likely get 15% out of 100%, which I don't understand how that's possible. But if it could be worse than Troll 2, even though Troll 2 is a masterpiece, then I don't know. But anyway, I'm ranting off, so this video is officially over, and as always, more videos soon. Oh man!